go ahead and go listen into this press conference that's happening right now with the fire department.
It's a 1 million square foot medical supply facility on Promontory Parkway. Upon arrival, crews found heavy fire from the roof of the facility, an aggressive fire attack with a limited water supply, high winds, high temperatures, low humidities made firefighting very difficult. The fire extended across the roof and down into the facility. We did an interior fire attack. We could not hold the fire. Eventually, we lost the entire 1 million square foot building. The fire did extend across the street into another warehouse facility, the federal FedEx warehouse facility. We were able to, again, aggressive fire attack, lots of mutual aid resources. We were able to stop the fire there. We had several spot fires throughout the city. Aggressive fire attacks from mutual aid resources actually contained those fires pretty quickly. And that's really the extent of it. You can see from the scene behind me, the Medline facility continues to burn. We'll be here throughout the night and throughout tomorrow, making sure that embers don't extend into other portions of the city and to try to continue to contain the fires. That's the update for today. I'm available to take some questions. Also have our representative for our police department here, our board of supervisors, and our city management.
Chief, what are the explosions that we keep hearing?
There's a variety of, it's a medical supply facility, and we have several distribution trucks. Some of them are tires exploding. Some of the explosions you hear from some of the products within the facility.
Chief, this is a medical facility. We know that chemicals are stored there. Any threat to those chemicals creating some kind of toxic plume or problem to the wind or the neighbors?
Yeah, we're monitoring the air quality, and right now we've not issued any warnings for protection from air quality or shelter-in-place warnings.
You talked about this. Do you know if anyone was injured?
Yeah, right now we do not believe there are any injuries that are part of this incident.
Do you know how many people worked there, and were they evacuating when you arrived?
Yeah. When we arrived, there was an evacuation that was occurring, and I do not have a number for the total number of employees.
Thousands of employees?
I don't believe there's thousands of employees, maybe hundreds of employees.
You mentioned FedEx.
Yes.
So the FedEx facility is also destroyed?
No, the FedEx facility was not destroyed. A large pile of pallets and several containers caught on fire outside of the facility. But again, an aggressive fire attack we were able to protect. That is ongoing right now, and it's looking promising that we'll be able to protect the FedEx facility.
Chief, what about the wind gusts? 25 miles an hour. You're already having embercast. Another fire's already started. How are you dealing with that right now?
Well, we're trying to keep the embers down with master streams, and we're attacking the fires as we see spot fires occur throughout the area.
What kind of supplies, medical supplies, are in there? I mean, you said some of them could be exploding. What are we talking about?
There's a variety of medical supplies. I don't have an exact type or quantity of medical supplies. We believe the fire originated from the roof, but it's still under investigation.
California requires these types of facilities to report any hazardous materials that are inside. Is that something that your team was aware of, and what type of preparation does the fire department do for a worst-case scenario like this? Because of the sheer quantity of square footage of industrial space that you have here in Tracy that many other cities do not have.
We inspect these facilities. These facilities are permitted. We do track the chemicals that exceed the permitting limits. And so, yeah, we have that information, and we evaluate that information as we fight fire and as we protect the public.
Have any homes been evacuated? And then what would you say to residents who are worried about the smoke? What should they do?
Yeah, we have not. This is in a very industrial area, so we have not evacuated any homes. But we do have resources throughout the city in the event spot fires occur that could impact homes. So to date, we have not evacuated any homes.
And this facility was built in 2016, which you think would have very up-to-date codes in terms of not only fire detection, but also fire suppression. Any thoughts as to how this was able
Yeah, we had water supply issues, and we don't know why. And we're not sure if the sprinkler systems to protect this facility operated appropriately. We made a good aggressive interior fire attack, and the sprinklers were not operating. So that we'll have to find out what happened to the water supply, and that's going to be a after action investigation.
So were you not able to tap into the fire hydrants? I mean, what was your...
We were. There was just no pressure, and so it limited our fire attack because we lacked pressure on the fire hydrants within the facility. So in the what we call yard hydrants did not have water pressure.
The city hydrants have pressure. And
Yes.
Firefighters out here.
Yes, they did.
This was a facility-specific issue in terms of pressure.
We still have to, lots of investigations that need to occur, but yes, right now we think it was a facility issue as far as water supply. I think some of them are full and some of them were waiting to be loaded and unloaded. Pardon? I think some of the tires or the explosions that you were hearing, yes.
You've been here for a very long time, and I know you've seen the growth of these facilities. When you heard this call come in and realized this was not just an alarm, this was for real, what happened on like a visceral level? Stomach drop? What were we thinking?
No, this was our largest concern. When we have several million square foot warehouses and we know we require fire protection systems and we train on these types of fires, and so my first thought was an aggressive fire attack that we'd be able to stop, but things worked against us. Again, water supply issues, low humidity, high winds, and high temperatures, and so it was a little bit of the perfect storm for this fire evolving quickly.
Your initial attack, what was it that was specifically on fire?
The roof.
Do you know when the last time that you would have inspected those land hydrants and the sprinkler systems? How often do they get inspected?
Yeah, so they're required to be inspected at least annually. I do not have the inspection reports, nor have I had time to look at the inspection reports.
Is there a city council person or a supervisor here? I'm just wondering if you could talk about the impact of this. This is a large employer to the community, and they do a lot of good for the community. Can you step up to the microphone?
Well, we have our city manager here. I think it would be more out of
Sorry. Sure.
Midori Lightward, M-I-D-O-R-I, Lightward, L-I-C-H-T-W-A-R-D-T. I'm the city manager for the city of Tracy. Our primary concern today at this moment is preservation of life and property. This is obviously one of a very large industrial building here within our 1,800 square foot or 1,800 acre complex. It is one of our employers. I think a question was asked earlier about how many employees there are. I think it's in the hundreds, not the thousands, but we can verify that at a later time. But our primary mission at this moment is to get these fires suppressed and to make sure that we bring all the resources to bear that the city of Tracy has to ensure that our public safety personnel have all the resources they need to suppress this fire and get us into a safe place for the community and our businesses.
As a city leader, I mean, looking at this and thinking about the hundreds of folks that work there that are now likely out of a job, I mean, what's kind of the emotional reaction?
It's devastating, right? It'll take some time to sink in, but right now we're in sort of emergency attack mode, so we're just trying to make sure that we keep the community safe, keep our parameters, and keep people out of this area, and keep the community updated as we have updates to report out on.
Can you tell us what other companies are in this industrial park? And how big did you say the industrial park is?
It's not all built out, but it's about 1,800 acres.
1,800 acres.
For lodges, yes.
And what other companies are here, obviously?
We've got Amazon right behind us over here, several warehousing type facilities. Their names escape me at this moment, but FedEx, certainly, Medline, Amazon.
Home Depot?
There is a Home Depot as well, yes. Anything else?
Unless you have any more questions, I think we've answered. I think we've provided all the information we have now. So.
How many alarms and how many personnel do you have here?
I don't have those exact numbers. It went to 5 alarms, and we added additional resources above the 5 alarms with strike teams out of Alameda County. So 100 to 150 firefighters on scene.
And Cal OES, how are they helping?
We've been in contact, so anything we need, they've said they would provide. Local OES, county OES also.
How long do you expect to be out here? Would you say days or obviously?
Yeah, I think days. Probably a couple of days.
And again, no reports of any injuries.
No reports of any injuries. That'll do it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chief.
All right. You have been listening to the fire chief there giving us an update. What I took from that is they believe this fire originated on the roof of that 1 million square foot facility for Medline. They have not had to evacuate any homes, but what we heard there is this has been a challenge to fight for several reasons. They had limited water supply. He was describing a lack of water pressure coming from the fire hydrants, and he also said it's kind of the perfect storm because we had the high temperatures, the low humidity, and the high winds.
Yeah, and he said, they did the best they could to try to protect that warehouse, but at some point they just had to back off of it and realize that building, they were not going to be able to save that building. So then they started to focus their attention on saving that FedEx building, which is still going on right now. And he's hoping that's promising that they are going to be able to save the FedEx distribution center, which is just behind this Medline facility that you see here.